Tonight on NewsCenter 6, the recount for the Register of Deeds race is winding down. We'll give you an update. Tewksbury police make 2 arrests in a crack cocaine bust over the weekend, and Chelmsford residents are raising money for a community playground. Stay tuned. NewsCenter 6 is up next.
This is NewsCenter 6, an exclusive cable television service for Lowell, Chelmsford, and Tewksbury, with anchors Mary Haddad and Paul Millerani.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Millerani.
And I'm Mary Haddad. Here's what's happening. Over the weekend, Lowell, Tewksbury, and Billerica election officials performed recounts on the 9-way Democratic primary race for Northern Middlesex Registry of Deeds. Today, the remaining 7 communities in the registry district are performing their recounts as well. Hanging in the balance is who ultimately earns the Democratic spot on the November ballot, Lowell attorney Richard Howe Jr. or Lowell attorney Karen Theodoris. The recount of the ballots for the Registry of Deeds race shows just how much room there is for human and machine error in tabulating the votes of an election.
On this particular precinct, you will not see any cancellation across any of these ballots because the precinct box failed and wasn't discovered until the box was opened at the end of the night. The
final tallies changed during the recounts in several communities, including Dracut, Tewksbury, Billerica, and Lowell. In Lowell, Theodoris gained 7 votes, but Howe gained even more, picking up 20 votes in the recount. Dick Howe Jr. is the apparent first-place finisher in the close race for the seat. He says Theodoris had every right to seek a recount.
I think with the small margin of victory, I think a recount is to be expected. I mean, personally, I'd prefer not to have gone through the time and the expense of it and just get on with the campaign, but it's something that I think it has to happen, and who knows, she could turn out to be the nominee.
You don't begrudge this then at all?
No, not at all.
In Chelmsford, Theodoris watched the recount with bated breath. According to both camps, Howe was leading Theodoris at noontime, with 11 more votes acquired through the recount. Chelmsford is home to the 4th-place finisher, Dennis McHugh.
Simon. McHugh. McHugh.
Theodoris says this weekend's recount has been a series of ups and downs.
Every community that's been counted so far has been on a computerized system, and it's amazing to see the errors that come through on the computers, especially with the punch card systems that are existing in Lowell and Dracut.
No such thing as foolproof?
No.
If there's one hurrah to be heard today, it's from Chelmsford, where today's recount produced the same results as the primary night tally.
I am so pleased that you never know when there's a recount what's going to happen, so I'm so pleased that it came out the same exact totals as election night. I want to really thank my workers.
Well, the Secretary of State's office has ordered that the towns wrap up their recounts by midnight tonight. The recount winner should be announced in the morning. However, those results could still be contested to Lowell Superior Court. Paul.
Another candidate is heading to court as a result of an election recount. Lowell Republican Corey Lewandowski planned to seek an injunction from Lowell Superior Court today to appeal the City of Lowell's recount of the ballots for 17th Middlesex State Representative. Lewandowski came up 7 votes shy of the 150 write-in votes needed to secure a spot on the November ballot. That recount was conducted Friday night.
We opened Ward 6, Precinct 3. We opened the box where the envelopes should have been, and they were not there. We went into the vault, and there were no envelopes found. Those envelopes were left at the firehouse on Old Ferry Road, meaning 481 possible votes were now missing for myself. We contacted the police department. They sent a representative over to pick them up. When they brought them back, they were in an unsealed box where anyone had access to those envelopes for the past 10 days. When we recounted those, they were missing 59 possible votes for myself. 59 envelopes were missing from that precinct.
Lewandowski asked the Secretary of State's office today to avoid a legal battle by placing his name directly on the November ballot. The Democrat in the race for the 17th Middlesex State Rep is Tom Golden. Tewksbury police arrested 2 men over the weekend for dealing crack cocaine at the Caswell Motel. Police had been watching one of the men for weeks when a warrant was sought to search his room. NewsCenter 6 went along on the raid.
32-year-old Abilio Bolario was with a female companion Friday night when Tewksbury police executed a search warrant of his room here at the Caswell Motel. Bolario has been observed by police detectives over the past few weeks selling crack cocaine from room number 237. Once inside, detectives left no stone unturned as they searched every square inch of the room. Finally, hidden in the inseam of Bolario's jacket, detectives found what they were looking for, 1/8 of an ounce of cocaine. The Caswell Motel has long been a trouble spot for Tewksbury police. Now with Lowell police cracking down on crime and opening neighborhood precincts all over the city, criminals are leaving the city and moving to the suburbs.
I think Lowell's doing an excellent job. I've driven through the downtown areas that, locations that we had problems before, and I see them, cleaned up quite a bit. The problem that is causing us is we don't have the resources or the money to enforce the drug laws or the, drug investigations.
If you decide to answer questions now, we're a lawyer present. You still have the right to stop at any time until you get a lawyer. Do you understand those rights?
Bolario is no stranger to law officers. He's been in prison at least 3 other times. He's on parole now, and getting arrested for another drug charge means 3 more years in prison. But the story's not over yet. After a strip search, Officer Robert Budrick found another 14 bags of cocaine, this time crack cocaine, on Bolario. Not enough to make him a trafficker, but enough to charge him with possession of a Class B substance with intent to distribute. Meanwhile, detectives back at the motel got Bolario's companion to call his dealer to deliver more drugs to the room, and bingo, within 20 minutes the dealer, 21-year-old Ernesto Rodriguez of Lowell, arrived with more crack and a beeper full of customer phone numbers. Sergeant Peterson says tonight was a success, but many more acts of crime slipped through the fingers of police officers because they simply don't have the money or resources to keep up.
The problem is, overtime costs money, and, additional personnel certainly would help. But in any investigation, it's not an 8-hour day, it's a 12-hour day or a 16-hour day, depending on the investigation. And without the money or the resources, we just can't do it.
Both Bolario and Rodriguez were arraigned in Lowell District Court this morning. Well, when we return, the long-awaited cleanup of Lowell's Silresm Superfund site gets underway.
And Chelmsford police get federal money to hire more police officers. That story's coming up.
Construction has begun for the massive cleanup of the Silresm hazardous waste site, Superfund site in Lowell. Bulldozers were on the site today, beginning work on 25 groundwater extraction wells and a treatment plant for the contaminated water under the site. The cleanup is expected to take 30 years and cost $41 million. The Environmental Protection Agency is overseeing the project. Mary.
Today, about a dozen Democratic candidates for various public offices met the students at Middlesex Community College's downtown campus this morning. The event was sponsored by the student newspaper, The Campus Report. In addition to meeting the candidates, students were encouraged to sign up to vote for the November election. MCC will host a similar event next week for the Republican candidates for office. Paul.
The town of Tewksbury will have a new veterans agent soon. The Board of Selectmen approved Town Manager David Cressman's recommendation that Ellsworth Hart be appointed to the position that will be vacated when current veterans agent Connie Barry takes a job with the Department of Public Works. Town Manager Cressman says that the town is required to have an agent by law and that he is instrumental in helping veterans receive all the benefits that they are owed.
At the same time, the veterans agent is to assist veterans in accessing other programs that are run by the federal government, possibly by the state government, that are not administered by the veterans agent.
Hart should begin work as the town's new agent sometime in the middle of this month. Mary.
The Chelmsford Police Department will be receiving a $546,000 grant from the Federal Department of Justice. The grant money will be used to fund the hiring of 6 additional police officers over a 3-year period. These new officers will replace other officers who were reassigned to other functions within the police department over the last month. Still ahead, we'll tell you about the open house this past weekend at Tewksbury's water treatment plant.
And the Chelmsford Friends of the Park are raising money for a community playground. But first, here's a quick look at the day's final figures from Wall Street.
The doors at Tewksbury's water treatment plant were open to the public this weekend. Town residents got to see firsthand exactly what goes into purifying water from the Merrimack River and making it drinkable. Employees of the plant explained to residents that the facility is state-of-the-art and that townspeople should be proud that wells and the purchase of drinking water from other towns has been phased out, now that the plant provides Tewksbury with 99% of its water needs.
They've had wells, they've bought water from other towns. Now they have their own, and it's a good one. We won an award 2 years ago from Department of Environmental Protection in our own category. We were the best in the state. Okay. So it's something that they can be proud of. Their taxes paid for it.
The plant was built to pump 3.5 million gallons of water a day, but during the summer the plant has actually pumped more than 4 million gallons of water on several occasions. Paul.
The Chelmsford Board of Selectmen will be meeting tonight at the town offices. Town Manager Bernie Lynch will be giving an overview of the town's fiscal year 1995 budget. Selectmen will be discussing articles pertaining to this month's town meeting, which begins on October the 17th. And selectmen are expected to vote on the appointment of a resident to the Capital Planning Committee. Tonight's meeting begins at 7 p.m. in room 204 of the town offices. Mary.
In Chelmsford, an effort is underway to raise funds to help build a new handicapped accessible community playground. So far, the Friends of the Park have raised $15,000 towards their goal of $70,000. David Sakowicz has been working on the story. He joins us now with more.
Well, Mary, if all goes as planned, this community playground will be completed by next summer. But first, another $45,000 needs to be raised to cover the cost.
The sign is already up and the children are ready. Friendship Park will soon be coming to Roberts Field. Since February, a hard-working group of parents have already raised over $15,000 for the brand new community playground. So why would these parents go to all this trouble so their children could have some fun?
Because Chelmsford didn't have a playground that suited the needs of a lot of the children. We found ourselves going to other towns to take our kids there to play at bigger, more diverse playgrounds.
Complete with a live band, the Friends of the Park held their first function at the site of the new park. It was a walkathon. Over 100 people participated in the 2.4-mile walk through the neighborhoods around Roberts Field. That's more than organizers expected.
We expected maybe 50 people would register, and I had over 100 by Friday, and we'd only been advertising for a couple of weeks, so we're real excited.
So community response overall has been good?
It's been wonderful. From the people who walk to the people who donate the prizes to people, and the food that we have here today was donated by various local merchants, and it's just been wonderful.
The Friends of the Park are thousands of dollars away from their goal of $70,000, but other fundraisers are in the works, including the selling of engraved bricks, which will line the pathway to the playground. All of the funding is expected to be raised since people are eager to get involved. Why did you decide to get involved?
Well, I live near here and would really like to use the park more and get some new equipment in there. I think that'll be great. I'd like to see Chelmsford have a playground like other towns have.
Why do you think a new park is a good idea?
I think that this park is getting kind of old, and I think it's time for a new park.
What do you think? You think it's time for a new park too?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I think I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's a good idea for the little kids. I think they'll love it.
Now, if you're interested in helping out the Friends of the Park or would like to purchase a brick to be placed on the pathway of Friends, you can call 256-7416. That's 256-7416. So they have a long way to go, but they're optimistic to be able to raise the money for this new playground.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
We'll have to try it out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going down the slide first. When we return, we'll take a look at the latest Merrimack Valley weather forecast.
Here's a peek at some of the stories we're working on for tomorrow's edition of NewsCenter 6. We'll tell you about the warrant articles for Tewksbury's special town meeting to begin tomorrow night. In Chelmsford, the selectmen are set to meet tonight. We'll have a full report. And we'll tell you about a Lowell rap artist who took home the award at a recent contest. Tune to NewsCenter 6 tomorrow night at 5:37 and 10 p.m. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of NewsCenter 6. I'm Paul Melorani.
I'm Mary Haddad. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
News Center 6 is provided by Lowell Cable Television, serving Lowell, Chelmsford, and Tewksbury.